Commissioner Anderson and Commissioner Spires, who are both excused. Are there any members of the public here for public comment? No. Since there are no members, we will press on. Presentations and reports. Mr. Agate.
Thank you. As was noted in the work session, I'll just briefly hit a few key things. Our city administrator position is currently vacant. Our city attorney is filling in as the acting city administrator. He was appointed as such Tuesday night by the city council for an unforeseen duration of time. I think we anticipate possibly all the way until the beginning of next year that is a likelihood given the circumstances. And then, as noted, Mayor Searle is currently dealing with some health challenges, so we'll send your well wishes to him on your behalf and hope that he recovers speedily so that he can come back strong near the end of his term. As far as development project progress, that's what I'm looking for. Mobet is moving forward. They're really close to being ready to open. Like you said, in the work session, Cafe Rio is currently operating. Dutch Bros should be operating very soon. They have everything they need to be open. They're just, I think, training and stocking, but they have all their CFO and everything.
There's cars in the drive-through when I drove
So
by.
maybe they're now opening.
Very
in
nice.
a soft opening.
Thank you.
So there you go.
Sorry.
No, you're good. And the Maverick permit is still being going back and forth with the building official with comments, and the Chick-fil-A building permit has been issued, and we anticipate at some point they will be closing so that they can move forward with their redevelopment of their site. And I think that's everything we talked about in the session upstairs.
Yep.
So
Sounds like
that's
it. Thank you, Mr. Agate.
You're welcome.
Action item, consideration to forward a recommendation to the City Council of a final site plan proposal for Take 5 Automotive and Drink Store buildings, property located approximately 4021 and 4023 South Riverdale Road, Riverdale, Utah. 84405 is requested by Blue Lube LLC and Reeve & Associates. Mr. Agate.
Thank you. And the representation tonight is Mr. Jeremy Draper and Mr. Tabor Cope, who are both present with us tonight if you have questions for either of them on their representative groups. Interests. The two sites, 4021 South is the Take 5 oil change and automotive services shop location, and 4023 is the proposed drink store drive-in location in your plan. The property is located north of Denny's and east of the Staples Ross building, currently owned by a name that I'm not going to read on the record, but if anybody's interested, can look in the packet. On August 10th, this matter came before the Planning Commission for preliminary site plan approval consideration, and that approval was provided. No public hearing is required for tonight's consideration. The property is located in a CP3 zoned area, and as a result of that planned commercial designation, it's required to have a development plan that is subject to a development agreement. The development plan obviously is in your packet, but the development agreement will then guide and steer the legal logistics of how that development plan is applied to this property. The requested use, the automotive services and repair is a conditional use in the zone, and I did not prepare a conditional use permit. Crap. We might be having a conditional use permit in 2 weeks, gentlemen. I realize that now. I apologize. I just came to that conclusion that we didn't have you do that conditional use permit application. So we'll have to talk about that offline, but I might need to quickly run that through. The requested use is located in a area of the general plan designated as planned commercial high, and the project plan would comply with this land use for this area. See, as far as review comments, I provided these comments to Mr. Draper. He's aware of them, and then we've discussed them briefly in the work session, but items that I've noted are highlighted in yellow, either of concern or maybe further discussion and direction from the Planning Commission. And then I've already indicated to the applicants that a design review committee will be needed for the site plan still as well. So there's still some time to get that conditional use cured. I can get that done in 2 weeks, and we can get the design review done and keep it moving forward. So the guidance on the parking is to look at maybe a reciprocal parking agreement with neighboring property owners to the west and the south of the site. And also, the engineer has noted cross-access easement agreements, which maybe could be part of that reciprocal parking agreement. I've noted that some new power lines and existing location telephone lines, et cetera, aren't showing or need to be maybe further explained where they're located in the plans. Bicycle safe grates and gutter inlet boxes. Some notes to the engineering group about just a few things I noted in the packet, and then just some other guidance there. So that's the long and short of my review. Again, not to belabor it. The Public Works Department director has noted some concerns. However, he says he's okay with the plan to move forward with the understanding that this needs to be resolved. But there's some items there under stormwater 1 through 9, and then he has one item of water. Feel free to glance over those. If you have any other specific questions about them, feel free to ask of me or the applicant group and go from there. There are no review comments or concerns from the police department or the fire chief or the fire marshal. The city engineer notes a few things relative to the site plan itself, the drawings, some things he's looking for. Again, number 2 is the cross-access easement. Number 1, showing the utilities easements and rights-of-way, public utility easement around the perimeter, some notes on the the site plan drawings, and then some updates to the geotechnical report he's seeking. Then under stormwater, there's some comments and concerns. As was noted in the work session, he did say that the storage concept shown is considerably different than the standards previously accepted in Riverdale City. I did talk to him about that on the phone as well. He just said he wants to talk to Mr. Draper more about the concepts to better understand if it's something that would be supported by the standards of Riverdale City. So I think that there's some additional conversation that could be had there between our engineer and Reeve to try to work through those concerns. And then there's some stormwater issues he noted in item 2 of his review report. Talks about the backflow device upstream from the site water meter and just making sure that the detail for that is shown where applicable. Looks like a note regarding stormwater drawings upon construction completion. The detention basin storage volume must be checked by design engineer, and volume actually constructed must be measured and then certified and written by the design engineer, city stormwater manager. An indication that he wants a maintenance chart and record to be revised and placed in the improvement drawings for on-site maintenance workers to follow. And then sanitary sewer notes, note 1 and 2. Again, if there's specific questions, feel free to direct those accordingly. Packet thereafter, you'll see the application, the payment that was made, the development agreement submittal document. Let's see. Following that is the visuals of the coloration and materials for the building, the signage on the building that would be utilized, and what the marketing structures are on site to direct traffic and individuals around the site, an indication of what the exterior of the drive-in buildings could look like depending on the user for those buildings, and then the improvement drawings thereafter. So that's pretty much everything in the packet. I sincerely apologize to both the applicant and the planning commission for not having that conditional use permit issue resolved, but I will work readily and speedily to have that at your next meeting as a resolution item. So other than that, I defer to the planning commissioner if you have any other questions for the applicant group.
Thank you, Mr. Eggett. Do any commissioners have any questions or comments for the applicant?
Yeah, do you have any idea of when you're going to have an occupant on your drink site?
Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Tabor Cope. I live at 1053 East Preston Avenue in Layton, Utah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've got a lot of interest. As you know, Riverdale Road's a great site, so we've got people that are wanting to be there right away. As you mentioned, we're just looking through some of the things with water and making sure we've got the water for everybody. But if we can get that secured, then there's people that are ready to sign a lease agreement right away.
So you're not anticipating having a vacant building?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
And then I do have a question about the stormwater issue. It seems like that at this location that is a serious issue, something that needs to be worked through with the city and the city engineer. How is that coming? I'm just curious what your thoughts are as far as that's concerned.
Thank you. Jeremy Draper with Reeve and Associates for the record. I've actually sat down, met with Scott, and discussed his concerns with that. Drafted up a memo based on our discussion. Scott seems to be on board with that. We just need to sit down and go through everything with Sean. While we're not, meeting the full letter of the law as far as the code is concerned, what we are doing is reducing our impervious impact on the site with this whole redevelopment. So our stormwater runoff is actually less. And also on top of that, we are providing for some LID retention on site so that our 85 percentile storm is captured on site, and then anything that's above that will continue following the existing flow paths. Now, as part of the shopping center. So it's something we got to work through with Sean and Scott still. And we've had good conversations with Scott to this point, and it's something that I feel like we can get resolved pretty quickly.
Okay, great. Thank you.
If there's no further questions or comments, the motion is in order. Commissioner Jones.
Make a motion that we forward to the city council with a favorable recommendation on the final site plan for the Take 5 automotive and drink store buildings located at approximately 4021 and 4023 South Riverdale Road, requested by Blue Lube LLC and Reeve and Associates.
Do we have a second?
I second it.
Michelle, will you poll the commissioners?
Do you want to amend that to include with the resolution of staff and engineering concerns?
With the stipulation that they address the concerns of staff and engineers.
I second it.
Commissioner Herman?
Aye.
Commissioner DeMar?
Aye.
Commissioner Anderson?
Aye.
Commissioner Nutt?
Aye.
Commissioner Wingfield?
Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations. All right, next item is motion for adjournment, unless
Well,
Ms.
just real quick, I don't know if this would be for Mr. Draper or Mr. Cope, but if one of you will contact me tomorrow, I'll get that conditional use application. We'll get that done right away. I really apologize. I feel really dumb. I should have told you guys about that and got that taken care of for tonight's meeting, so I apologize. But we have some work to do, so I think that shouldn't slow you down to get that done. Okay? Okay. So just call me tomorrow and let's get that done. Okay?
That has to come to us, right?
Yeah, that'll come to you in 2 weeks.
Thanks, guys.
I
Make a
move we
motion.
adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Adjourned.
Aye.